Hello and welcome to Pub and Fig. In this video, I'm going to go over what a lingua franca is. So lingua franca is a real world term that kind of shows how languages have affected human civilizations for the past millennia. So I'm going to use examples from history and explain how that worked then and explain what it looks like today, now, within our daily lives. So with that, I hope you enjoy. Okay, so what is lingua franca? Lingua franca is used for international communication. Sounds simple. Let's say there's these two different tribes or groups or whatever. One mostly focuses on livestock, another mostly focuses on crops. Let's say they wanted to come and trade, maybe some sheep for some wheat. They would have to have some kind of form of communication in order to trade with each other to know what exactly they're bargaining with other than just visuals. They need to have some form of communication, that way they know what exactly is being proposed. English is the modern day lingua franca, and we can see that everywhere. Whether that's in the internet, airplanes, it's mostly prevalent. Like, why is that? So let me look at some other examples and talk about their uses. So let me talk about the Roman Empire. The Romans spoke Latin, and as they conquered more people, they spread Latin to those countries and to those people. So then that way, they could have a single language of a single means of communication. That way, whether you're making trades or you're paying your taxes or being given information, you can understand. The lingua franca within the Roman Empire was Latin. However, lingua francas, when they don't have as much of a use, can die out. When the Roman Empire fell, there wasn't a need for an official language anymore. Countries could be their own things again. So that led to the spread of French, Portuguese, Spanish, and Italian coming from Latin. So Latin's dead now, but those are still there. Now let me visit Africa for a little bit. Now this is still modern day, but this is still kind of prevalent as an example. Within just the continent of Africa, the lingua franca there is Swahili. They use that as the means of communication and trading within the continent of Africa. However, when you look at the global lingua franca though, it is English. Let me go to the colonial ages. There were many powers within Europe. There was England, Spain, and France, Portugal, Denmark. Lots of them were main powers, but there wasn't really one lingua franca as much because they all would have considered each one important, They wouldn't have considered English as the number one because there were other countries that were close to their power. So when did English supposedly spread? Well, England is known for creating lots of many useful contraptions and devices when it came to some of the Industrial Revolution. So if you wanted to get a job working at these, you would move to England, but you would have to know English. So then you would move up north and you would learn English, and then you would work and make a product. But then if you wanted to disperse this product to numerous countries other than just England, those other countries had to know English, or at least a little bit, enough to understand. So then that would have spread more and more English later on. So an example of how English would have spread through England to the rest of Europe would have been an example of hierarchical diffusion. Now, a way I remember how to understand this is the similarity to the word hierarchy. And hierarchy has an example would be like kings, and then maybe special advisors, and then you keep on going down until you just have the meek peasant. An example of this, of a hierarchical diffusion, would be modern day trends. It would start off in more of the superior places such as New York, London, Paris, and then it would travel down to more of the less superior, but still pretty superior, and then it would go to even more and more and more, just keep on dispersing, but not as greater as superior cities. So I think it went along those lines when it came to lots of the manufacturing was in England, and then if you wanted to trade with these products, you would have to learn English, that way you could trade, to where it would have gone from England to higher powers such as Spain, France, etc., and then just keep on going down and down and down and down and down the chain. That is how hierarchical diffusion could play to the helpfulness of a lingua franca. So the lingua franca today is English, and that is used for manufacturing, communication, the internet. Yeah, just look at the internet. It's dominated by English. English has spread through numerous means in our average day lives. So it is pretty much an essential now through numerous means of communication. Just look at airlines. They have to speak English. But yeah, lingua francas could die out. When the Roman Empire fell, there was no need for Latin, so it fell. Latin's a dead language now. I bet, maybe the year 3000, English might not be the lingua franca anymore. I mean, I still bet it would still be important, But I don't know, it might end up like Latin, just a nearly forgotten language. Okay guys, that is all I have in this video for you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned what a lingua franca is and how it is useful in modern day life and how it has been used throughout history, throughout millennia. So I hope that was pretty informative for you. And with that, sayonara.